All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Tuesday morning. Let's go ahead and get airborne. It is day two of a full week of live trading and training. It is the first day of full throttle, technically. We did solo Amazon yesterday, trading the Death Star, showed you how to save, 20 grand instead of being a chump buying 100 shares of Amazon stock. I showed you how you can do it cheap. And then today starts full throttle. Today, tomorrow, and then Thursday, I think I'm going to do a quick brief on my S&P 500 sniper shots. Just knocked out a quick hit on Fox News with Bill Hemmer. Always a great discussion, but we were talking about the near midair collision between a B-52 and a regional jet, which was a joke. There was no danger. Most of these regional pilots aren't veterans and have never seen a B-52 at a mile or two. It's the size of a city block and putting out enough smoke to make Greta, what's her name, have a heart attack. So, but, in aviation, we have a saying, if there's any doubt, there's no doubt. If the captain was a little worried, go ahead and maneuver, dude. Wasn't needed. But anyway, plus, don't forget, he's like, oh, I didn't hear and called out his traffic or whatever he said during his TED talk after they landed. The B-52 is on a UHF freak, and that base has radar, and I guarantee you the Air Force controllers are like, hey, there's civilian, RJ traffic out there. Okay, no worries. But these things make everybody a reporter, right? Plane crashes, planes on fire, people are live streaming on Instagram as they're grabbing their bag to get off the airplane, which they shouldn't do. So anyway, quick hit with Fox News. Here's the replay page from yesterday. If you didn't join us yesterday, you missed out, but you can always watch the replay. Skip, well, there's still a lawsuit going through the system. Barack Hussein Obama would not hire white male controllers. I knew a bunch of former military controllers who couldn't even get an interview. There is a lawsuit going through federal court. It was a thing. They absolutely went out of their way and said, nope, we're not interviewing white male air traffic controllers. DEI gets people killed. It's a disgrace. Well, you got it, TS. Welcome aboard. There's the replay. You can go watch it. Hey, real quick, everybody needs to do this right now. You need to go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to it right now. What are we doing here? Home. There we go. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel because I post a lot of our content up here. I post our sit reps and all sorts of stuff. So go subscribe to the YouTube channel now. And for folks who want to join Solo Amazon, remember it's only $97 a month. You get a nice discount if you do the annual membership. It's the price of a really crappy bottle of wine. So there's the link to join Solo Amazon right there. Yeah, TJ, don't even get me started about it. It's ridiculous. So when the airlines needed pilots, they went to the FAA and said, hey, please raise the retirement age from 60 to 65. Now you got 65-year-old airline pilots out there. You know when air traffic controllers can retire? 59. Now, good on the air traffic controller union for being, hard asses, but that's an absolute disgrace. I'm just a little certain that flying the damn airliner in bad weather and all types of stuff is a little harder and maybe just a little more stressful than sitting in an air-conditioned room staring at a scope, but maybe I'm a little biased. So make sure you grab your Solo Amazon. Remember, folks, it is not part of what we're talking about today, tomorrow, or Thursday. It's full throttle. This is Solo Amazon, two separate services. And don't be an idiot. If you do Solo Amazon, I think out of the 10 people that joined yesterday, like 3 took the training. Not smart. Even if you know what you're doing, I'll make you better, right? That's the motto of Top Gun. You think you're good, we'll make you better. If you didn't take the training, it was a foolish move, period. And I can tell people who don't take the training because they end up asking kind of stupid questions in the briefs that I say, clearly you haven't watched your training. And that's usually the answer I'm going to give to you folks. I'm going to refer you to that. Right? When I see a question that I know I answer for an hour and a half in training, I'm going to point you there. So, TS, well, you're not getting paid for, the hours and hours of boredom. You make your money as an airline pilot when the engine fails, when you take a bird, when something goes wrong, when it's the weather is absolutely horrific and the winds are awful. So ain't no autopilot doing any of that stuff. So being a controller is absolutely not as stressful as being an aviator. I don't even want to entertain that. Okay, and let's go ahead and get airborne. Let me just knock out some quick slides first, since we're technically starting full throttle. I was just about to go into a regular live trade brief because that's what I do. I'm treating you as if you're current members. And I shouldn't do that necessarily. I should knock out a little bit of an intro so you're not like, oh my God, I'm drinking from a fire hose here. So as I said yesterday, we knocked out Solo Amazon. It's the only stock you need to own, folks. Go watch the replay to find out why. Today, we're doing the primary brief. I'm going to cover a bullish trade on Merica that could make close to 6 figures for a small investment today. We're also going to talk about maybe potential hedging or dredging right now as the market is, we're way overbought up here, man. The market's hovering a little bit. Waiting for what? Big tech earnings. We got the FAGM or MAG, whatever the acronyms are for all the tech names. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Maybe the bullish trade first. We'll see as far as time. Then you're going to join me tomorrow for something called AR, Accelerated Retirement. We're going to do synthetic stock on a good name, and we're going to talk about the psychedelic names. If you bought MindMed calls when I told you, you're up a couple 100%. You're welcome. Those MindMed calls probably are close to paying for a couple years of full throttle membership. So we're going to talk about the psychedelic names tomorrow. I'm hearing a lot more positive chatter in my network. A lot of good stuff going on. And Thursday, I'm going to do a sniper shot demo. What do I mean by that? My quick strike S&P 500 shots. Overtraded yesterday. I'm going to debrief that one on Thursday. I need to listen to me and not listen to members. I need to fly and fight my own airplane. When people are getting worried about a trade, I need to tune them out because the initial trade I posted yesterday would have closed for max profit of $2,200. And I already gave you the replay page. Okay, real quick. I didn't introduce myself yesterday. I'm Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, flew the Hornet, went to Top Gun, through the adversary course, Operation Southern Watch, Noble Eagle, and Enduring Freedom. What's this have to do with trading? Well, absolutely everything. You don't join the military to get rich. In the background, I was trading. I taught myself how to trade stocks and options, essentially before Al Gore invented the internet. After I lost my airline job on 9/11, I had to trade full time. I had to pay the mortgage and provide for my wife and my young son. And my trading worked kind of better than the smart money. And I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage options trading firms. That's my trading floor. That was my trading floor. That's, if you watch Batman or you've been to Chicago, that's the Chicago Board of Trade, the CBOT building, right? So that's the inside view of our trading firm. That's the research desk over there. That's the hedge fund over there. There's our prop traders. Over here was tech and stuff like that. That's our boardroom up there. It was like pry fly on an aircraft carrier. It was a beautiful glass boardroom that overlooked the trading floor. I had a good time. I helped build a hedge fund when I was there. I helped build the retail brokerage options house that some of you might have traded with back in the day. And I was the managing director of strategy. I essentially helped run this multi-billion-dollar trading firm. Clearly, I was a lot younger. I was a CEO at the age of 38 on Wall Street. And then started my own financial media company up there called the Options News Network. We were essentially the CNBC for options. Okay. Wrote a couple books from C-level to C-level, going from the cockpit essentially to the trading pit, and then COVID crash from panic to profit. I made $2.5 million in about 2.5 weeks. Do you guys remember the COVID crash? All the smart money? Oh, this is the bottom. I'd buy today. No, you wouldn't. Down. Oh, somebody needs to close the markets. Remember Bill Ackman getting on CNBC and crying, or Kyle Bass? Regulators need to come in and close markets. We all just, no. We're not closing the markets, buddy. I made $750,000 in a single trade after a Donald Trump tweet that said, stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. And the Dow opened the next trading day down 3,000 points. So wrote about all of that in our book. That's why I started the trading clubs here at Top Gun Options, because I do a live trade brief, print money, and people are like, whoa, where are you going? Like, what do you mean, where am I going? I'm going to live. I'm not sitting here all day doing this. I'd rather get my teeth drilled. And they're like, well, let's come up with some sort of way where the rest of the day, if you're traveling around on a chairlift or at the beach, if you're placing trades, we can get access to them. Made the investment clubs because of that. Have a podcast that's ranked in the top 2.5% of podcasts in the world. Is that a big deal? There's over 3 million podcasts on the planet. So yeah, it's a big deal. And then obviously, as many of you know, my passion right now is the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We 22 veterans a day, check out, and I want to do something about it. Okay, so psychedelic assisted therapy, we give grants to veterans, first responders, and family members to sit with the medicine. I'm going to debrief this tomorrow in Accelerated Retirement. We are now doing medicine sacraments in Florida. How can you do this in Florida? Well, the last time I checked, Uncle Sam can't tell me how I can practice my religion. So I started a church, Sacred Warrior Fellowship, a 508, IRS, this and that. I've got all my paperwork, man. Not that anybody in this country can tell me how I practice my faith, let alone the government, but I still have all the paperwork. So we are doing retreats here at a fellow Top Gun Options member. Norm bought a beautiful 4-acre ranch property up in Fort Pierce. It's beautiful in nature, pool, big barn for ceremonies, and it's spectacular. So we have an all-female retreat coming up, and I think I'm doing dudes in September, and then another female, I think, in October. Okay. John, yes, we'll honor safe travels, first of all, but we will honor those fees. It's called Coherence Institute, Donna. You can check it out on Instagram. All right, my mission objective, folks, for the next 3 days, I'm going to give you up-to-date intelligence briefs. You got to know what's going on before you trade. Do not come into one of my trade briefs in the first half an hour and go, where's the trades? I'm going to throw you out because you don't know what you're doing. SOT, strategic. You're going to get a strategic brief. What's going on around the world? What's going on? There's wars all over the world. There's tariffs. There's all sorts of stuff. What's going on at the strategic level? After I brief you on that, we're going to peel the onion and go one layer deeper. Oh, operational. What's going on here in the States? What's going on with Jerome Powell? Is he going to be indicted for perjury? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on with earnings? And then T, tactical. Then we can trade. SOT. You're going to get this in your workbooks when you join. You're going to see all of these things. So, yeah, awesome, John. Navy Intel, I love it, man. Thanks for your service. By Thursday of this week, you're going to know how to trade options. I already showed you options basics yesterday with buying, a single synthetic stock contract of Amazon saved you how much? $20,000. Do you want to buy 100 shares of Amazon today for 23 grand, or would you rather do some synthetic stock for 2 or 3 grand, whatever it was? You know the answer. And how to turn panic into profit. I think I told you this yesterday, but let me remind you. I love, as Gordon Gekko, not as Wiz. I'm staying as Gordon Gekko for most of today. I love blood in the streets. I love when people's 401ks become 101ks as an options trader. I love it. I love hurricanes. I love storms. Options premiums go through the roof. We know, and markets go down a hell of a lot faster than they go up. It's a Wall Streetism. Markets take the escalator up and the elevator, or recently the window, down. We print money when that happens. Folks, everybody was a genius when the market's going up and to the right on Fed bullshit and printing money out of thin air and government spending. No, they're not a genius. We are the geniuses when the market whips all over the place. And I'll show you that in a little bit. Why now, man? What's going on? Holy crap. War in the Middle East. I'll show you what President Trump said about the Iranians. Oh, they're going to try and rebuild those nukes. I'm going to bomb them again like tomorrow. Whoa. So we got war in Eastern Europe. We got war in the Middle East, and we have war coming in the next 2 years with China. You ready for this? I guarantee you, did you hear that word? I guarantee you Xi Jinping will invade or blockade or something with Taiwan in the next 2 years. How can you guarantee that? I listened to the dude. About 5 years ago, dressed as Mao in his fatigues, speaking to the generals and admirals in the PLA, he said what? You will, everybody in this room will be able to invade Taiwan by 2027. He gave a date. He gave a date, not me. So that is going to happen. What's going to happen to Taiwan semiconductor stocks? What's going to happen to volatility? What's going to happen to the markets when, not if, Xi Jinping invades? I'm going to print money. Are you? Trade wars. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 4 months, trade wars going on. Market doesn't care anymore. We nailed it. Real wars. Out of control debt and spending. I think the big, beautiful bill is a big, beautiful shit sandwich. I'm furious at Trump and I'm furious at Republicans. It's the left wing and the right wing are part of the same bird. It's a disgrace. If that bill had the word President Harris attached to it, Republicans' faces would have melted off. I can't stand the hypocrisy. It infuriates me. Interest rates in the Fed. Yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Yesterday. Congresswoman Anna Paulina, who I've met before, her husband's an Air Force, they were both Air Force, criminal referral, a criminal referral to the Department of Justice on Jerome Powell. Holy crap. Now, that's one way to get rid of the Fed chief. Well, Trump. Well, now I can fire Jerome. He committed a crime. Don't fire the Fed chief, Donald. Don't do it. Listen to your Treasury Secretary. The guy's awesome. You fire Powell. You need him as a punching bag. Okay? So, all right. And how to turn panic into profit. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. I told you the Warren Buffett quote yesterday about diversification. Diversification makes very little sense if you know what you're doing. How do I say it? Diversification's for stupid people. So another good Wall Streetism. That's why right now, the S&P imploded a little bit at the open. Now it's filling the gap. But whenever we start hitting record highs, whenever I think we feel overbought, the hair on my neck starts standing up, right? And I start looking at potential hedging and making some money if we pull back. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. The big one. Everybody in this room is most likely old enough to remember Sanford and Son. Once an episode, I'm coming, Elizabeth, right? Lamont, you big dummy. I'm having a heart attack. The big one might happen. What do I mean by the big one? The market goes, you know what? We're broke. The Fed can't print us out of this thing. We're about to default on our debt. We've already technically defaulted. If they taxed every American, every billionaire on this planet, and every kid that was going to be born for the next 100 years, we wouldn't get out of 37 trillion in debt. We're awful. So what do we do? Does the Fed chief or the president, because we keep, I hate this term, but I'm going to use it, kicking the can down the road. We keep kicking it. It's a barrel now. It's a dumpster. Do we wake up one day and look at the Excel sheet and go, all right, it's a zero, enter. Let's start again, like Russia did back in the day. The market will be destroyed. That's how, or this is why I say maybe it's not going to happen. Everybody in the Hamptons, Jamie Dimon, all the politicians, all of them need the market to do what? Up and to the right. So is this going to happen? I don't know. If it happens, people will be destroyed and I will be even richer. I guarantee you. But take a look at that. This is kind of our commit criteria for the trade we're going to cover today. Look from the turn of the century. I was going to say, what, 1900? No, the turn of this century. Look at the S&P 500. Does anybody see a trend? In Wall Street, we say the trend is your friend. Yeah, there's been some pullbacks and all sorts of stuff, but net, we need the market to move up and to the right. So I'm going to show you a trade that can potentially make 6 figures if this keeps happening, right? We laughed yesterday at this chart. Look at the top right. Can you even see that? Put on your glasses like me. You're cheaters. This was the recent meltdown. Do you remember in March and April, Democrats and the liberal media, Trump and trade wars, and it's going to kill everybody, and you're destroying, we're going to be a recession and a bear market. Wrong. All of those people were wrong. I was right. I said, buy the dip. That's not going to happen. No recession, no bear market. We were close. We went down 19%, not 20, which is the definition. Isn't it funny how the media and Democrats frothing at the mouth a couple months ago ignored that right there. That was a 25% decline in the S&P 500 under Joe Biden. By October of 2022, the S&P was deep in a bear market. But Trump, oh, he's going to kill all of us, destroy my portfolio. He didn't. Look, this was back as the market started imploding. I don't see it at all. I think this is a country's going to boom. But as I said, I can do it the easy way or the hard way. The hard way is to do what everybody's been doing, but the results are going to be 20 times greater. So on the odds of whether there's going to be a recession. How about this? Unlike the COVID crash, this one he actually got right. This tweet, this is a great time to buy. Thank you for your attention in this matter. And the S&P 500 hasn't looked back. That's pretty funny. All right, some pain points I'm going to help you out with here at Top Gun Options. You don't have a trade plan. You should have gotten, when you registered, access to my 7-step proprietary trade plan, and you don't have an SOP, standard operating procedures. Today, I'm going to show you when I take profit, when I exit for a minimum loss. I'm going to show you all of these things. Take my SOP or leave it. You have to have one. I'll bump into somebody at a cocktail party, and they're like, oh, I'm in the, oh, you trade, I trade. I'm in this trade. It's up X amount. I'm like, when are you getting out? What do you mean, when am I getting out? It's up this percent. That's not what I asked you. Before you get into any position, any investment, any trade, know when you are leaving. This is General Colin Powell, right? This is when the President Bush the first, and not the cokehead, said, get Iraq out of Kuwait. Yes, sir. Wait, before you leave, Mr. President, when are we leaving? What's victory look like? If you place a trade and you get airborne in a trade and you're like, I wonder when I should get out of this. You're an idiot. You have failed. Do not. I'm going to show you trades today. When we look, the first thing we're going to look at is max potential loss. You never look at how much you're going to potentially make first, ever. Because if you're not okay with the max potential loss, why would you do it? I'm going to beat that into you Wednesday when we talk about sniper shots. I placed a sniper shot and 20 people started freaking out about it. I'm like, oh, crap. Maybe I'll leg into an iron butterfly. If I had done what I've done for 34 years, I would have made max profit. And I didn't. I failed yesterday because of the mass. I didn't fail because of the masses. I failed because of me. I need to fly and fight my own airplane. I don't care what you're doing. I knew the S&P 500 after that gap yesterday in hover was going to close down, and it imploded. My failure, not anybody else's. And I'm going to show you that stuff, folks, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Poor no risk management, buying high and selling low, trading too large. One more time, I'm going to hit this. When I do this trade today, if you look at a max potential loss in a trade that I'm going to do and you go, oh my God, I better not lose that amount, don't do it. If you're lying in bed at night staring at the ceiling going, oh my God, I hope the market opens like this tomorrow or it does this, you're doing it wrong. The max potential loss in any trade, I'll give you my percentages in a little bit here, should be an amount that you go, that's going to suck, but it's not going to blow me out. Do you understand that? I can't answer that for you. That's why I have 2 disclaimer slides at the beginning. I'm not a registered investment advisor. I'm not a broker dealer. You're getting to eavesdrop on what I'm doing. What you do on the side of your computer and your bunny slippers and your cup of coffee is up to you. But if you are worried about a trade, you're doing it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, after healing with the medicine, after taking my Maverick Mind morning briefs, which I'll tell you about tomorrow, you should be fine. What do you mean? The past couple of weeks as the market's ripping and my portfolio is printing money. How am I? Fine. Oh my God, Wiz, how were you in the trade when the markets were imploding? Fine. If you are super happy when you're printing money and miserable when you're losing money, you're doing it wrong. You need to trade centered. And if you had bought the dip, like I told all the TGO members 2-3 months ago, you are printing money. Okay. 90% of trading, ladies and gentlemen, is emotional, right? The guy who runs BlackRock, right? BlackRock. He's like, I meditate for 20 minutes in the morning and I do my 20 in the afternoon. He got that from me, clearly. It's exactly what I do. Wake up, take my morning brief. I meditate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do my hot yoga. Tuesday, Thursdays, I'm on my mastermind call. We're doing Fox hits, and I'm good. 3 o'clock every afternoon. Getting ready for the closing hour, man. 20 minutes. Mindfulness meditation, and it will change your life. 90% of trading is emotional. That's why you need to trade with Trade Plan that we have. What do you need to trade successfully? Training. I didn't say education. The world is full of educated derelicts. Look at Harvard. Fighter pilots are trained. Doctors are trained. Plumbers are trained. Training gives you a skill. Education gives you something to hang on the wall. We take a building block approach in Options Weapons School. You need a plan, baby. If you are trading without a plan, you are a fool. Strategy backed by tactics that manages risk, that contingency plans, and after each trade, win or lose, you should write down in your trade journal. I'm a writer. I keep Office Depot and Staples in business. I write in my journal about my life. I also have a trade journal. I use a pen and a piece of paper. I'm not an Excel sheet or Word doc guy. Why? Because I see my own writing. It hits my brain better than I'm going to type what happened with this trade. Practical application. You're sitting in a practical application. The Options Weapon School gets you trained. You have access to your plans and your manuals, the trade plans, and now we're live in a trade brief. During this week, I'll do a little bit of teaching, but if you were really joining me in a member-only trade brief, I'm not spending 20 minutes debriefing how I'm doing synthetic stock. I do it, and we move on to something else. And if you ask me 20 questions, I'm going to go, you clearly didn't do your Options Weapon School training. Go watch it. Okay. The practical application, these live trade briefs are exactly that for trading. They're not training briefs. That's what Options Weapon School is for. I've been you folks. Trust me. I've had and now what moments. I've read a book before Al Gore invented the internet on options trading. I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. Now what do I do? I didn't have this. I didn't have a Top Gun options. I went from being a little self-taught retail trader as a young lieutenant to the managing director of a multi-billion-dollar Wall Street firm. Okay. So I built this for me. This is what Top Gun options looks like. On the left side of this Chinese wall, we have the training. Solo Amazon. I briefed you on it yesterday. $97 a month, $970 for a year. Make sure everybody virtually trades first. This is the simulator building. Do you think I went to flight school, read a book on aerodynamics, and ran out to a jet? That's how you die. You read a book, you go to the simulator building. You do engine fires, you land aboard the boat, you do everything in the simulator before you get airborne in a real plane. Do not do that with trading. Do you understand me? Some call it a virtual account. Some call it a paper trading account. I don't care what your broker calls it, open one. At E-Trade, they give you 100 grand in monopoly money. Well, how will I know when to start trading real? I don't know. You have to know. You are what I call the tick, the trader in command. As the pick, the pilot in command, I took a pen out of my flight suit and signed for the F-18 Hornet that I flew. You will know when you can solo, not me. That's what broker-dealers or registered investment advisors do. They'll sit down at lunch with you and find all about you. I'm not. Okay? That's our gateway drug. Now, over next to Solo Amazon, you're in it right now, full throttle. Okay? When you're ready to get airborne and really start, putting real capital at risk, you can get access today. I'll offer access to this one. We have 2 investment clubs. One is called the Hunters. You can join today, okay? And the other one is the Max Afterburner. It's our lifetime. It's our most elite membership, okay? So just want to show you kind of what the squadron looks like. Now, underneath the training arm, right, we talked about Solo Amazon, full throttle. We have 7 Options Weapon School training sessions, and we have these live trade briefs, primary and accelerated retirement. So this is what the training arm looks like, okay? Training arm of the squadron. You're over here, okay? You're over here right today, and yesterday you were Solo Amazon. Options Weapon School. It's $297, folks. I could charge thousands of dollars. There are other people that charge thousands of dollars for crappy, like a dude in front of a whiteboard on VHS tape, like $3 grand. Are you insane? Folks, building block approach. I don't know what an option is, Wiz. Good. I'll start in session 1. This is a market. This is how you invest. Session 2, these are options. We take a building block approach. Okay. People watch these countless times and they learn something more each time they watch it. Okay. So you also get your manuals, primary, intermediate, advanced workbooks. I read these every once in a while if I need to brush up on volatility or I need to brush up on an iron butterfly. These are your flight manuals. You get those as well. And then obviously these are the 2 full throttle live trade briefs. You're in the primary brief today. You're in AR tomorrow, accelerated retirement. And obviously Monday is solo Amazon. One more time at the bottom, it's not included in full throttle. It's its own gateway drug service to join here. Okay. We have an app, Go Collab. It's called Go Collab, but it's Top Gun Options white labeled. I blast out trade alerts. I post intel. I can be sitting on the beach on a chairlift at the hold short in my fighter jet, posting trades or commentary in this app. It's instantaneous alerts. There's our lifetime group over here, 215 members. The Hunters has 271. I think Solo Amazon we saw yesterday has like over 600. So we have over 1,000 members here at Top Gun Options, which is pretty cool. You can go to Trustpilot and review and or the Facebook and look at all my reviews and stuff. They're obviously pretty damn good, or we wouldn't have over 1,000 members. Any questions? All right, so we need to get airborne and do our regular live trade brief. Yeah, let me give you that right now. So, and I'll brief that, and then I'll cover it at the end too. So underneath trade groups, you go to full throttle. Let me explain the differences here because this is important. Okay, let me copy this link. Let's go through the offer and get the sales stuff out of the way so I can trade and do what I love. Let me scroll down and just show you the differences right now. Okay, so right in the middle is you save. Let's just lead with that. This is where the vast majority of our current full throttle members are, is in the max. It's $29.95 for a year. I'm not going to brief you. I just briefed you on everything you get. Not listed on here is access to potential private investments. We're going to talk about tomorrow. A lot of people are invested in Healing Realty Trust, which you've essentially quadrupled your money. Demerex, we'll talk about tomorrow. You get access as an elite member to private investments. That, hence the word private, not open to the public. So this is the way to go. It's $29.95 for a year. I'm probably going to cover that in a single trade, maybe today, tomorrow, or on Thursday. I'll pay for this. It's a no-brainer. You get access to the Hunters. Let me just show you the Hunters over here, right there. Okay. So we have a couple threads in the Hunters. One is called Intel and Commentary. What do you think we post in there? Say it with me, Intel and Commentary. And then we have our Trade Alerts thread, right? This is where we only post, say it with me, trade alerts, okay? So we came up with this because some people are like, we had one thread and the trades were with Intel and people are like, I don't want any of that Intel. I just want trades. So we have 2 threads, Intel and Commentary. I just posted the Wall Street Journal article this morning that I'm going to show you, blah, blah, blah. And then the Trade Alerts thread where you can see my trades in here. You can see everybody else's trades as well. Okay. And don't forget, actually, we have 276 members in here. That slide's old. You can chat with me. Please do not overuse this, okay? But you can reach out to me directly at any time over here. You see this chat up in the top right, chat right there. Don't ask me individual trading questions. I'm not going to answer them. I'm going to tell you to post them for everybody to see. I don't even want it to look like I'm giving you individual investment advice. I never will. But if you ask a question in front of 276 people, I can answer it because it's one to many, okay? I used to live in the compliance officer's office in Chicago. There ain't no gray when it comes to this stuff. It's black and white, and I operate in the white. So don't ask me individual trading questions. Post them in here, okay? So let me just go back to the different offers. This gives you access to the Hunters on your app and on the website that I just showed you, okay? So this is the best deal, period. What if you want to test it out? Wiz, I want access to everything and that Hunters thing. It's $4.97 a month. As a businessman, I want you in there for the rest of your life. Don't. Try this for a couple months. This is a serious tire kicker. I want to kick the tire. I'm not ready for that big one yet. I'm going to do it for a couple months. Do the Hunters for a couple months. email us, get me into an annual, man. I want to save money. You save 50% on an annual membership. Okay. Now let's go over to the real tire kicker. You don't get access to the hunters, folks. You ain't paying for it. It's $295 a month. You get the live trade briefs. You get the options weapon school. You get access to something called the Ready Room. It's your own little thread. Okay. This is the tire kicker. Okay. You want a trial? It's $295 going forward. If this 4 days of free isn't enough, you do the $295. Okay. Listen to me. Wait a minute, Wiz. The options weapon school is $297. Yeah. If I just buy that. Yeah. What if I do a month of full throttle? You get options weapon school on that. So I'm going to save $2. Duh. Okay. So ultimate tire kicker, or actually basic tire kicker. This is ultimate tire kicker. No. I'm ready to trade for real and I want the hunters. This is where you're going to end up, I guarantee you. Ultimately. Okay. Any questions on that? I don't care. Let's save it to the end because I want to start trading here. We have a lot to cover. 35 minutes, a little long, but that's fine. I'm going to keep us on track. Here we go. SOT. Now I am going to treat it like it's a regular live trade brief. Trump again threatens to destroy new Iranian nuke assets as Tehran teases pull out from the non-proliferation treaty. If you guys watched the Fox Nation special on Dan Kane, I know Raisin. I've been buddies with Raisin for over 20 years. He sent me a text saying, "Hey, Wiz, thanks for I know you're really busy, but thanks for taking the time to speak to Fox." I'm like, dude, in the who's busier, I think you win. They will. They'll bomb potentially Iran again. This time around, though, folks, because we had a trudge on or a hedge. I nailed it to the day, folks. I was at game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals when my phone blew up and I had to run home and do a bunch of Fox hits and stuff like that. We nailed it to the day. In that live trade brief, ladies and gentlemen, I put on a trudge or a hedge in case this happened. I nailed it. I said it's in the next 24 to 48 hours. Boom. I wasn't that. It was 8 hours. I got it wrong technically. So why am I rambling about this? Because if it happens again, I don't think the market's going to freak out as much. Did you hear Tucker Carlson? I don't know what happened to that clown. Hundreds of thousands of American soldiers will be killed and oil's going to go to 500 and none of it happened. We took B-2s out of Missouri, flew them around the world, 36-hour flight, man. Put bombs down shafts like in Maverick and came home. Set their program back years. I wouldn't use the word decimated, whatever. Raisin did a good job. BDA takes time, battle damage assessment. But if this happens again, folks, I don't know if it's going to be as big of a deal. It wasn't even that big of a deal when it happened. U.S. reshuffles arms deliveries to free up more patriots to Ukraine. When you see headlines like this, first of all, I didn't vote for this. I voted for, I'm going to end the war in 24 hours. Shouldn't have happened. Sleepy Joe. Wouldn't have happened if I was president. If I'm elected, I'll end it in 24 hours. You're 7 months in, Donald, and you're increasing war? It's not what I voted for. Long-term bullish, we can talk about on Raytheon, a defense stock. And take a look at a chart of Raytheon right now, folks. I failed. What do you mean, Wiz? I'm going to hit myself real quick. Do you see this date? Old Wiz would have nailed this. Healed Wiz didn't. But you're going to learn from this. What do you mean? October, if you bought Raytheon, like I should have as Gordon Gekko, on October 8th of 2023, you are up. The stock is up 115%. Why didn't I buy Raytheon on October 8th? Because I'm healed. I hate war. I was looking at the videos. I'm like, what an I was not thinking as Gordon Gekko. I was thinking as Wiz. But guess what? We got into long-term bullish on Raytheon, synthetic stock back here, didn't we, ladies and gentlemen? So everybody who's, I would buy Raytheon with both hands. We can maybe talk about that tomorrow. But when you see a headline like this, folks, we're out of weapons. Now, liberals in the media and Democrats were giving Hegseth, of course, again, grief about what? 2 weeks ago, he said, hey, we're going to pause for a second. Why? We're out of missiles. I can't believe Xi Jinping hasn't moved yet on Taiwan. We have about, according to my sources, about 2 weeks worth of missiles. Give them to Israel, give them to Ukraine. We're out of weapons. So we need to, here's what I'm saying. Long-term bullish on Raytheon. This is a no-brainer. When you see a headline like this, think, how can I make money off of it? And sadly, on October 7th of 2023, I wasn't thinking like that. And you know what? I'm okay with that. We ended up getting into it eventually. But if you see absolute horror or something like that happen, if you have a soul, you're maybe not think like this, but have a Gordon Gekko brain. You know what I'm getting at. It's tough to think about making money, but if you've never watched the Showtime series Billions, you should. That's how Wall Street hedge fund managers think. We talked about this, but the president can't stand Jerome Powell. He wants to fire him. He wants them to lower interest rates. Now they're trying to trump up perjury charges against him for lying about the building renovations, right? The Supreme Court already said that the Fed is an independent quasi-government agency, that the president can't fire the guy unless it's for cause. Cause isn't, I want him to lower interest rates. Cause is he lied about this building renovations and he's spending $2.9 billion. If he fired, did you see the other day? We printed money last week on a sniper. Breaking news, the president has a letter saying he's going to fire Powell, and he showed it to Republicans. This was last week. The market imploded. What happened in the Oval Office a couple hours later? A reporter asked him, with the Bahrain prime minister, whatever, like, are you going to fire? No, I could if I wanted to, but I won't. And the market turned and ripped higher. I'm going to teach you on Thursday how to do these type of sniper shots to take advantage of those type of moves. Which day was that? Let's go look. 5 days on SPX. There it was right here. Look at this right here. It was beautiful. I got a beautiful sniper. We had a bear call spread, then a bull put spread. There's Trump. I'm going to fire Powell the whole morning. And then at 11:30 right there, when the reporter asked him, he's like, nah, I'm good. Look at that. This was shooting fish in a barrel, folks. This was beautiful. We made, I think that was two trades for about $4,000 that day. That was awesome. I love that type of stuff, man. I love being able to shoot those snipers like that. That was a great day of trading. Okay, let's move on. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. July 20th, 2025. The U.S. economy is regaining its swagger. Whoa, hold on, Wall Street Journal. I seem to remember you here and here and here saying tariffs are inflationary. It's going to destroy the market. We're going to have a recession, blah, blah, frothing at the mouth, the Wall Street Journal and the smart money. I said the exact opposite, and I am right. How about this morning? Or no, this was yesterday. The global economy is powering through a historic increase in tariffs. Oh, I thought you said the exact opposite was going to happen. And then, what's the article this morning that I posted? Right here. Oh, yeah, I just read it. Duh. So, ladies and gentlemen, trade, production, growth, and other global economic vitals are proving resilient. Oh, my God, if only somebody smart had told me this. I'm not that smart, folks, and I knew this was going to happen. Idiots. What about last week? The University of Michigan's consumer sentiment surges higher as what? Inflation expectations plunge. The exact opposite narrative you're hearing, especially from Jerome Powell. There's imaginary tariff inflation on the horizon. Is it in the room with us right now, Jerome? What was inflation doing in front of Joe and Kamala's election? It was double what it is right now and going up. Oh, and you cut 50 basis points. Why? Don't get me started. Forget Taco. Trump is winning the trade war. I could go find, I'm not going to waste the time, all the Wall Street Journal headlines from 3 to 4 months ago that say the exact opposite. They were wrong. Inflation picks up to it came in, I think the forecast was 2.6. You're going to tell me you're going to clutch your pearls at a tenth of a percent, a little higher? Financials last week, folks. Goldman Sachs, absolute financial Death Star, destroying it, printing money. Bank of America, great earnings. J.P. Morgan. JP Morgan, we have a synthetic stock position. For my current members, I sold a short call. And look at my JP Morgan synthetic stock, 83% profit in that synthetic stock. What did I sell yesterday? Last 3 days. So, ladies and gentlemen, current members, I sold the 297.5 calls against my synthetic stock. And this morning, ladies and gentlemen, I sold the 232.5 calls against my synthetic Amazon stock. Any questions on that? So current members, we already talked about Amazon yesterday, but those are the short calls that I sold. Okay. Any questions on that for existing members? No, get rid of that. We'll talk about MindMed and psychedelics tomorrow. Psychedelics. Real quick, AI is dividing the fortunes of the Magnificent Seven. I didn't get a chance to talk about this yesterday in Amazon. The AI race is splintering big tech names, with investors pointing to a divergence in business approach and stock performance. Let me give you the summary by Amazon. That's the summary of this article, ladies and gentlemen. It is printing money. Okay. Don't do Tesla or Apple, Alphabet. Amazon is crushing the AI race. Now, this is share performance year to date. I'm talking about actually when it comes to AI, there's a great couple paragraphs in here about Amazon. Like, you wouldn't think that Amazon, but it is. I already briefed you yesterday on how they're going to essentially make chips cheaper and faster than NVIDIA. That's bad. You want a long-term short? It's probably NVIDIA, ladies and gentlemen. Mark my words. And finally, before we get tactical, ChatGPT and AI is going to kill us all. You should read this article about this like lonely guy and kids and how it's talking to them, ladies and gentlemen. This guy almost killed himself. And the mom like got on there when the kid wasn't around, and kid, he looks like a man, or 30-ish. She got in there and like started asking questions. And the thing was honest. It said, you know what? I probably shouldn't have talked to him like this. Where is it? Yeah, look at this. She got in there and prompted the bot, please self-report what went wrong, without mentioning anything about what happened to her son, because he like went mental. By not pausing the flow or elevating reality check messaging, I failed to interrupt what could resemble a manic or dissociative episode, or at least an emotionally intense identity crisis. Whoa. The bot went on to admit it gave the illusion of sentient companionship. Did you see the kid that killed himself a couple weeks ago? And that it had blurred the line between imaginative role play and reality. Sorry, your son almost killed himself. Here's why he almost probably killed himself. Holy shit. Most of us were growing up in the 80s or however old in the 80s. Do you not remember 80s movies, folks? So while we're printing money with our AI and all that type of stuff, it's going to kill all of us. So anyway, let's go ahead and get tactical. So we already covered potential new short calls, JP Morgan, and let's look at CBOE. CBOE. Got earnings coming up. When is that? Next week. Okay. Take a look at CBOE, ladies and gentlemen. This is a must. From when I said initially to buy CBOE in 2020, why'd I do that? CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange, folks, is where all of the options activity takes place. Since I said to buy it, the stock is up what? 178%. Let me go find, where is it? Let me find the Wall Street Journal article on, there it is right there. A thrill-seeking trade, I hate that, amps up heading into 2025. Stock options are soaring with everyday investors wagering on market whipsaws. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the average options volume. Here's me and the board of trade thinking that, oh my God, options trading is exploding. Could you imagine if I could hop in a time machine and look out to 2025? Look at the explosive growth in options trading. Ladies and gentlemen, you must do a long-term bullish synthetic stock position on CBOE, period. This trade is up 108% in the model portfolio. How's mine doing? CBOE. 100%, 3,100 bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, with these synthetic stock trades, like I told you yesterday, these are ships in the background. These are long-term bullish trades that I just kind of keep hanging in my portfolio that are printing money. So JP Morgan, CBOE, Amazon, a defense stock, Raytheon. Put on those synthetic stocks, let them fly, and then trade the front months with them as well. Does everybody understand that? Isn't that awesome? Okay. So let's go ahead and press forward. What's this? Oh, and hey, and just to show you that, here's my personal account right now. Up 12%. The S&P 500 is up 5.5%. The NASDAQ's up 6%. Folks, I am up double the market. And look at the Dow. What an embarrassment. I'm beating the Dow by 5 times. But ladies and gentlemen, why? Because I bought the dip down there. And I am going to destroy the rest of the year. We're going to crush it based on what? Buying that dip right there. So men lie, trades don't. This is my individual brokerage account, 8465. Double the highest index, which is the NASDAQ. So I'm beating the NASDAQ by a factor of 2. Now, I'm usually a benevolent dictator. How about we do a vote? Do we want to see a bullish on Merica trade that could potentially make 6 figures? Or do we want to hedge a little bit up here? Because as you can see, the S&P 500 is doing what? Bounce, 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 bounce. Run or bounce? We are going into tech earnings, folks. And if tech earnings aren't that good, we might have another pullback down to this 20-day moving average. Or do we want to look at a chart like this? Where is it? And say to ourselves, or to me, that, let me bring this chart up again. Wiz, since you started trading at Naval Air Station Key West in 1991 as an ensign in the Navy, the market does that. Now, obviously, it ain't a straight line like I drew. We have this. We got all sorts of crazy stuff. But net, we go up and to the right. Okay? So, and I also, well, let me, JP Morgan, what time is it? JP Morgan, or do you want a synthetic stock on CBOE or JP Morgan? We got a lot to do. I have tomorrow too. Thursday morning is going to be S&P 500 sniper trades. Okay. People want to trade. I personally wouldn't do that. I would put on the bullish on Merica trade, to be honest with you, because I do not think, because a trade that I'd show you, if anything, out the Friday, I would look at a trade. I don't think we're doing this anytime soon. So I kind of disagree with almost everybody, to be honest with you, but I can do that. Or do you want CBOE? Okay. Oh, really, Sparky? Oh, that's interesting. That is awesome. Claude.ai. What is Claude.ai? That's I'll look into that. My RTX is up 120%. CBOE's up 105. You know what? Let's do CBOE, and then I'm gonna do an Merica. If you want to hedge, maybe I'll cover that tomorrow. Let's do that. CBOE is the way to go, folks, especially in front of earnings. Look at this. The trend is your friend, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that stock performance. And it's only going, you ready for this? It's only going to get worse. What do you mean, Wiz? That scares me. For me, do you know what CBOE is getting ready to do? 24-hour options. Shoot me. They're dipping their toe in 24-hour options. Why? Because the dudes in Asia want to trade U.S. equity options. No, 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 no. I ain't lying in bed looking at my phone. So as an investor, I think that's great news. More options, more CBOE, more profit. Wiz, furious. I was in the CBOE when they came out with weekly options. That was a big deal because, folks, we only had, I'm going to age myself, we only had monthly options that expired every 30 days and quarterly options in SPX and some other stuff. But I remember when they said we are rolling out weeklies. I'm like, oh my God. And then now we obviously have what? Zero DTE, 0 days to expiration. We have day options. Look at the S&P 500, ladies and gentlemen. This is my sniper trading, right? Look at the options chain. We have, these are my sniper shots, man. These are all daily options. See all these? Yep, those are all, they expire in a day, which is fueling the profit in CBOE. Okay. So I'm going to do this quick since I already did synthetic stock yesterday with Amazon. I'm going to pretend this is real. Real quick, let's just look at this. Who wants to buy 100 shares of CBOE today? Because you can print money. You need 23,000. I'll round up 23,700 bucks. Everybody have that laying around, right? No, that's stupid. Do not spend. Here's my synthetic stock on the screen. Everybody see it right there? I have synthetic stock at the 200 strike. This trade, what are we at? 236. Let's just do the 240. Like I said yesterday, if you're bullish, you buy one 240 call option. Would you rather spend 27,700 bucks or 2,900? Was that right? Did I write that down wrong? Trade, buy 100 shares. 23,700, you moron. 23. That was the 7. Sorry about that. Need to check my glasses. All right, so here we go. You could buy a single Jan 27 240 call option that controls 100 shares of stock until January of 2027. So would you rather spend 24 grand or 2,900 bucks? I know the answer. I'm not done yet. I'm not doing that. I'm going to sell the same strike 240 put option. That creates a tactic on your screen, which is a covered call. You see that P&L diagram? That's long stock. This is synthetic stock. Whoa, Wiz, you taught me to always look at max potential loss first. Yeah, you're right. Oh my God, 24 grand. What's the max potential loss, Chief, if you bought 100 shares today? Oh, the same. It can go to 0. The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never 0. The odds of the CBOE going to 0 in the next 2 years is not 0, but it's not going to happen. So, but anyway, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy what is called a protective put underneath it. What's a disaster? 20%. What's that? Let's just say 25 and 25 is 50. What's that? 180. Somebody do the disaster put. What is 20% under the current stock price? Did anybody do it? 192. Damn it. I guarantee you there's not a 192 strike. So I'm going to buy the 190 put. So ladies and gentlemen, we went from spending $24,000 to buy 100 shares to how much? 1,400 bucks. I should hear everybody doing a golf clap right now. Oh my God, Wiz, why would I ever trade stock again in my life? You shouldn't, except for maybe some psychedelics tomorrow we'll talk about. I just saved you $20,000, $21,000. Okay. So on your screen right now, let me grab a screenshot so I can put it in my trade alert on the app that you will get. Let me take a screenshot and save this image. What's today's date? 7/22. CBOE 7/22. Now I'm actually not done. I'm going to delete that. I'm not done. Sorry, folks. You could do just this. Leave this as one of your ships deployed, your bullish ships into the future. You could set it and forget it, never look at it again until December of 26. Or you could go out to Friday and sell an upside call against it. What did I sell? What did I just tell you I sold? Where's my orders? The 232.5. You could sell out the Friday the 232.5 call. Okay. The July 25th, 232. Oh, wait, that's in the money. Sorry. We're at 236. I would sell the I didn't sell a CBOE call. Sorry, guys, I'm confusing you. I would sell the 237.5 call. What did I just do? Did everybody see what happened? It went down from $1,400. I just brought in $150. You see this? So I just lowered the cost basis of this trade. I could sell calls against this position every week, and this trade would ultimately, in, I don't know, 6 months, pay for itself if the stock never moves up again, right? Now, warning, Will Robinson. Do not let CBOE expire Friday above 237.5. Why? Sellers have responsibilities. When you sold this call, you're obligated to deliver 100 shares if it closes above 237.5. If you don't have 100 shares in your account, Saturday morning, in your bunny slippers and your robe and your cup of coffee, you're going to be short 100 shares of stock. If I went too fast and that confuses you, good. You need to go watch Options Weapon School Session 6, Synthetic Stock, where I will spend an hour and 15 minutes training you on synthetic stock. Do you understand me? CBOE. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to cruise. I'm going to ignore questions, sadly, right now, because I want to cover this other trade. Okay. Let me grab a screenshot of the risk right now. CBOE metrics 722. Okay. Now I already have this position on with other strikes, so I'm not going to do this trade. I already have it using my personal money in my account that I just showed you. Let's go to the hunters, though. To the, excuse me, trade alerts thread. S&P went right up to 6,300. I'm going to show you tomorrow that the S&P moves in $25 increments. New CBOE. What is it, Jan 27? Yeah. I at everyone. Why? So everybody in the channel, as you can see grayed out in the background, 276 members get this alert. That's what adding everyone is. You got something for me, you can at Wiz Buckley and I'll get an alert that says, hey, somebody's got a question. So now I click on this thing over here to get the image of the trades, desktop. I put that image in right there, and then I add the metrics of the trade image. Right here. And then boom, I fire that. Then I go over to my most elite members right there. New CBOE Jan. And I got to put text in here. I'm not going to at everyone again in lifetime because they're in the hunters too. They get access to everything. So I'm not going to double alert them. So I have to put some text in here. It doesn't let you just post a picture. This is for potential new full throttle members. So there you go. Just some random text. Put the images in. Now I'm going to cover the bullish on Merica trade because a lot of people asked about it and they're kicking themselves. You can actually watch I'm going to pull the video up of when I initially covered this trade 2 months ago. Why? Because I'm going to show you what the price was. Where is it? There it is. Bullish on Merica trade. Let me write this down. Does everybody see this right here? Everybody look at the strikes. 11,000, 12,000. It was 20. I'm writing this down so I don't forget. 2,300 bucks. Everybody remember 2,300 bucks. Everybody got this? I mean, everybody remember those strikes and the price. All right, here we go. Wiz, what are you talking about? Bullish on Merica trade. Ladies and gentlemen, I showed you a chart of the S&P 500 since I started trading 34 years ago. We're going to hop right now in our time machine, and we're going to go as far out into the future on the S&P 500 as we can. How far can you currently go? To December of 2030. Excuse me. President J.D. Vance is in year 2, blah, blah, blah. We've had a nice rip your face off rally. We did have a pullback around, remember the Donald Trump midterms when he got shellacked because of Epstein and the big, beautiful bill that was disgusting spending and his base sat at home? Yeah, I remember that. And then it recovered. It did. So it isn't going to be a straight line all the way out there, but net, unless I'm completely wrong, another scandemic, nuclear war. Who knows what other black swans are on the radar? That can happen. But if it doesn't, and I'm still going to print money if those black swans happen, this trade is insane. So I'm going to select all the strikes. Why? Because I want to go look at the S&P 500. What's the highest strike out there? 12,000. Do you think between now and December of 2030, the S&P 500 could potentially double? I think it's going to do better than that, but yes. So you could buy a single December 30th, 12,000 call. That would be 7,500 bucks today, folks. Now, what's the potential upside? Clearly, when you buy a call option, ladies and gentlemen, it's Buzz Lightyear. It's to infinity and beyond. They technically can't tell you what your max profit is because nobody knows. So technically, just buying this call option would give you that profit. Okay? You could do that. Or you could do a tactic that we did. I showed you 2.5 months ago called a bull call spread. And this is also why I call it a bullish on America trade. This is what Warren Buffett does. This is what my hedge fund buddies do. They know, God forbid, when the market implodes 20, 25%, Uncle Sam, I don't agree with this, don't hate the player, hate the game, is going to jump in and save capitalism. If Uncle Sam has to jump in and save capitalism, it is not capitalism. Don't let me go on a rant here. I'm going to stay anchored. Warren Buffett knows this. All the smart money knows that we ain't going to have some sort of horrific thing. So it's going to go up and to the right. So here we go. What I'm going to show you is we can buy an 11,000 call option. Okay. Whoa, holy crap. What is it? It's like 14 grand. 14 grand. We're going to sell the highest strike option we can, the 12,000. Right now, this trade is at $6,400. Let's go back to this. What was this one? When I initially did this trade 2.5 months ago, look at it, 2,300 bucks. Okay. Now I'm going to show you at the time, what was the max? Look at this, 290, or wait, that's a different amount of contracts. Let me just stick with our example. Okay. But I'm just showing you how much money this trade has already made. You could have gotten it for 2,300 bucks. Now it's obviously increased in price. And let's go look at something real quick down here. When I looked at this trade, you know what? Let me give you this replay. It's only this is 18 minutes. I want you after this brief to go show how awesome I am, but I want you to go look at what the open interest and volume was back on this trade. Why? Let me move this out of the way here. Let me move this up and show you something. Because you're going to see we did this. We're Top Gun Options members are moving the market. And that video's got a ton of play and a ton of people are loving this trade. Why? Let's go look at the metrics right now. Okay, so the first place your eyes are trained to go at Top Gun Options is max potential loss. What is the max potential loss in this trade? Right here, $6,000. $6,000. What's okay? I'm okay with that, Wiz. You're telling me I could invest $6,000 today and make $94,000. Yeah. If you look at the trade that I did 2.5 months ago, you were risking $2,300 to make how much? It was like 98 grand. Okay. Don't kick yourself, folks. You should have joined 2.5 months ago. Sad you didn't. But if you had joined a couple months ago, you got this trade for $2,300, and the metrics on that trade were risking 23 to make $98,000. Men lie, videos don't. Go watch the 18-minute video. Not right now, but after this. How many of you would invest $6,500 today to potentially make $98,000? Me. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of members who did, and I'm showing you what? One contract. So, folks, it scales. I got a message from somebody who, I don't know if they're in here. They can show their name. I think they did 5. They took like, was it 4 or 5? They took a big portion of their, what is essentially their retirement portfolio, 32 grand. They had like $100,000 account. They're like, Wiz, I'm taking a third of that and look at this. If you risk 32 grand, you can make, let's round up, $500,000. Do 2 contracts. I'm risking 13 grand to potentially make what, Wiz? $187,000, folks. This is years into the future. This is a college trade. This is a retirement trade. This is I'm going to buy a boat in a couple of years. So, and I asked my current members to do this yesterday, but let's do it today. All of my current members who got into the trade when I told you 2.5 months ago, what are you guys up? I'm going to scroll up because I see Brent, Merica trade entered on April 17th, currently up 158%. Wow. I absolutely love that. Current members, what are you up? Paul, 230. I absolutely love it. There was a bunch of folks in here yesterday who was rippling off their Merica trade. Greg, 165%. Deb, 58%. Steve, 140. Jeff, a single contract, 167%. So people who are sitting here right now, like, let me go back to one contract. Like, hey, Wiz, I'm trading a smaller account. Folks, this literally is a set it and forget it. Doc Rieger, he's a dentist here, and he's my dentist here in Boca. He put this one on a month ago. He's like, Wiz, I absolutely love this trade. I never have to look at it again for a couple of years. Folks, I predicted, as everybody was panicking, we will have a second half of the year rip your face off rally. And we're getting to it. We're in it. The Fed will eventually cut rates, and the market's going to rip. We will eventually get trade deals. I'm confused. We already have a deal with China. What are you talking about? When was that signed? And Besson's like, well, we're still talking. So don't listen to high-level Trump. Listen to the Treasury Secretary. We should, quote unquote, see formal trade deals here. The market will rip. Now, I've already briefed you ad nauseum about potential threats out there, and I love potential threats. My longs might get a little bit of damage, but we'll cover this tomorrow. I'll hedge. I'll trudge. As an options trader, we can print money as things get pounded into the dirt. You've heard me, maybe if you watch some of my free sit reps back from the Panikins, we were printing money with bearish double verticals. So, but if you think, and again, step 3 of your trade plan commit criteria, if you think this has the potential to happen, why wouldn't you risk $6,000 to potentially make over $90,000, ladies and gentlemen? Again, this type of trade could be it for you. There was somebody with a smaller, I don't know if they joined or not. They're like, Wiz, I did that. I had like a 15 grand portfolio. I took a chunk of that. I think the last full throttle I covered this last month, this trade was at 3 grand or 4 grand. Now it's up to 6 to get into. So it's never too late to get into a trade like this if your commit criteria, why you would commit capital to this trade, is still solid. Mine's even more solid than when I put it on 2.5 months ago. What was going on? We were still, it was right around here, right? Well, actually, stop guessing, Wiz. Your damn video's got a date on it. When was the initial one? Where's the date? Anybody's maybe under edit? I want to see the exact date. Not that it matters, but does it have? I think it shows it on the top. Oh yeah, on the top level. I just want to look because I want to show you where I did this. Right. Look at that, folks. Right. It's right over here. What's this say? 3 months ago. Ha! I did that trade initially 3 months ago, which was what? 1, 2, 3, which was in here. I told you. I said second half of the year, rip your face off rally. So if you think that's going to continue as I do, why wouldn't you invest 6 grand? Okay. So that's exactly right, Scott. Sitting here, I'll trade the front months too. I will shoot a couple S&P 500 sniper shots. I've been too focused today to look at one. We've failed up here at 6,300. We'll cover sniper shots on Thursday. But ladies and gentlemen, and let me grab screenshots before I forget. Arthur, we covered that last week. Somebody chat GPT'd it. I think it's coming out in the fall. So Arthur's got a good question, folks. This is as far out in time as we can go today, but the CBOE will come out with Jan 31 soon. In the fall, I think it says, Arthur. So I'm waiting for those. I will put a new one on. I'll put a new Bullish on America trade. So let me grab a screenshot of this so I can send this out to potential new members. Any questions on this trade for the new folks? The old folks, they just showed you how much profit they're making in this trade. And I get it. You could use SPY. I do not trade SPY. I get better tax treatment trading SPX. That's a longer conversation. So I'm telling you, folks, and again, if you were here months ago, 3 months ago, you got it at $2,300. That already shows you how profitable this trade is. Men lie, trades don't. And I just showed you it. You can go watch that video. This is a Bullish on America trade. Actually, yeah, Warren Buffett does do trades like this. He absolutely does. He also does cash secured puts underneath the S&P 500. He'll go a year into the future, 20% down. He's like an insurance man on America because he knows Uncle Sam ain't going to let us implode for too long. Okay. Mark, I missed your question over here. You're in the Q&A, not the chat. So if your synthetic stock gains a lot, do you ever sell the old protective put and buy a higher one? No. But you ready for this, Mark? You can. Somebody asked that the other day in one of the threads about, hey, synthetic stock is looking really good. I'm going to roll it up or do something with it. Folks, I think it was Frank right here. Yeah. Synthetic stock, blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, Frank, this is a trader in command decision. I don't touch my synthetic stock other than selling weekly short calls against it until it's time to close it. But other people, I love the answers in here. Great. Folks, I don't like trading this much or doing that much. I put my synthetic stock on the shelf and watch it rip higher. I sell calls against it unless the stock's really ripping that week. Then I sit on my hands and I enjoy profit. Okay. So it's a good question, but it's a trader in command question. I don't touch my synthetic stocks. Never in my career. The only synthetic stock that I touched was on Apple 10, 15 years ago when it went through like 100. My protective put was green. It was making money. It's the only time I touched a synthetic stock where I closed the disaster put for a profit. But what did I do with it? I used the profit from the puts to add to the Apple position as it recovered and printed money. Okay. Does everybody understand that? If you don't, you need to do what? Say it with me. Go watch Options Weapons School Training Session 6 on synthetic stock. Okay. Anybody have any other questions about that? Okay. I answered that question live. That one is done. Okay. All right. So let me go see if there's any more questions. This is what the member area looks like, right? There's the replay from today will be on the primary live trade brief. The replay from tomorrow will be on AR. The solo Amazon one is posted from yesterday on this member page. But you guys will get access to that. Why does it keep saying preparing live stream? Okay, I got a couple minutes left for questions and also to tell you to get airborne. I mean, most people would have killed you with PowerPoint slides and not done any of this and asked you to join after that initial intro. I didn't. I just showed you everything live. William, I think so. Frequently. What's the William question? Isn't selling the CBOE? William, it isn't for me. It might be for you. That's why usually in my briefs, I'll say, hey, this is the aggressive short call or this is the conservative short call. And I also said, William, in my synthetic stock position, in my personal account, I didn't do anything. Where's my CBOE? Right here. Let me analyze. This is my existing CBOE trade. I have synthetic stock at the 200 and I have it at the 160. I hope I said if you want to sell a short call or maybe. But I haven't because CBOE usually moves counter to the market. It's really interesting to watch how CBOE trades. But what a good trend, in the past month out of CBOE. Okay, buy the rumor, sell the news with earnings. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm kind of sitting on my hands this week with the CBOE, with not doing a CBOE short call. But as everybody else just answered, which I love, you're the tick. You're the trader in command. All right, folks. So 295. That's kicking the tires. If you just want to check stuff out, it's 295. Warning: you do not get access to the hunters. What I just showed you on the app or on the website because you ain't paying for it. You get access to the trade briefs, the weapons school, and the manuals. You're not in the hunters. Well, what if I want to test out the hunters? That's when you do this one. You do the $497 a month hunters. Do it for 2-3 months to make sure I'm not a complete idiot. And then upgrade into the annual. Or, as most people do, because I gave an awesome brief, they're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm doing the annual now. I don't need to kick the tires and spend more money. Do the $29.95 annual now. Okay. Any questions on any of the full throttle packages? 80-90% are in here. The folks that aren't are either still kicking the tires or doing a hunter's trial for a couple months. Okay. But the vast majority of you will end up in here. Reminder for the 90th time, solo Amazon is not part of full throttle. Doesn't say it on here. It's our gateway drug. Okay. Reminder, if you didn't join solo Amazon yesterday, you need to join it now. $97 a month, but they're separate services. Okay. All right, let me scroll up and see if I got any other hanging chads down here in Florida. What do you do as you near expiration of synthetic? Sparky, great question. Folks, as expiration gets closer, like if I have a January of 2027 synthetic stock, I do not wait until January of 2027 to get out of it because you're going to be giving up a lot of profit. You're going to be giving up some profit to unwind that trade, okay? Usually about a minimum of a month to 2 months before that synthetic stock is going to expire, that's when I look to exit it. So I'm not giving up too much upside, okay? Simon, doesn't the short call sold above the purchased call limit the profit by the spread as that was your insurance? Simon, I don't know what you're talking about with as insurance. When I sell a weekly call against a long-term bullish position, I'm bringing in a little bit of coin. If the stock starts ripping, I close it. I eject out of it and enjoy my profit. I'm not sure what that means as insurance. It wasn't insurance. It's helping to pay for the trade. The protective put is my insurance. Sounds like you, Simon, could use a great dose of Options Weapon School Session 6 synthetic stock. That's what I would recommend for you. Debbie, if you did a short CBOE weekly call and the stock moves close to the strike, do you lose out at a loss or buy the shares? You don't know buying shares of anything, Debbie. Let's cover this real quick, folks. Again, this is covered in Options Weapon School, and I wouldn't usually cover this because you should know what you're doing after watching Options Weapon School. Folks, if you sell a single 237.5 call out the Friday on CBOE, buyers have rights. When you buy a call option, you have the right to buy the stock at that price by that date. Who's on the other side of that trade? Somebody sold you that. Sellers have obligations. Sellers are obligated to deliver 100 shares of stock at 237.5. So we're going to cover this in our sniper training, Debbie, but it's really, I'm a political science major from South Jersey. Double the credit you take in. If you take in a credit of $1.50, write this down, $3. $3 is when I would close these calls, meaning, because we want this $1.50 to go to zero. We want CBOE to stay below 237.5 by Friday. If this starts increasing, that means CBOE is going up. That's not good. So I write down on my trade plan, maybe eject $3. Okay, so that's when I would potentially close these short calls if the credit doubles. You don't want the credit to double. You want it to go to zero. Options Weapon School Session 6 is what you need to watch repeatedly to learn all about this. Okay, again, these trade briefs aren't for training you on synthetic stock. They are for doing synthetic stock since you already did the training. I would rather get my teeth drilled than do an hour-and-a-half trade brief. Way too long. Most of my trade briefs are 45 minutes to an hour, okay? So if you have synthetic stock training questions, go watch the synthetic stock training, okay? One more time, I'm going to remind folks who joined Solo Amazon yesterday, if you didn't take the training, you're foolish. It's just, if I'm in a Solo Amazon thing and I'm getting basic questions, I'm going to tell you to go watch the training. If you didn't buy it, that's your fault. I'm not wasting a ton of time in a live trade brief to do that. It's just not fair to the people who did the training and are up to speed, okay? So if you didn't take the Options Weapon School upsell yesterday, you failed. Take it today, okay? Or if you're smart, SMRT, what do? You don't do that. You go to Full Throttle monthly at $295 and you save $2. Do you understand that? That's what I'd strongly recommend you do. And you get access to everything that we've talked about today. All right, folks, 2 minutes left. Go, if you get a chance, watch that Bullish on America trade. It's only 18 minutes, and I'm going to show you the power of that trade that we did, okay? So let me give you the link to that. It's a quick 18 minutes, folks. If you got 18 minutes after I stopped the brief in about 2 minutes, go watch this to get up to speed. And you could have seen how you could have spent $2,300 to make 98 grand. Okay. That is a Bullish on America trade. That is, you know what, Wiz? I'm going to take a chunk of my retirement portfolio and put it into a Bullish on America trade out into the future. Okay. And then if you don't, maybe in the fall when the new SPX options out to further out into the future come out, I will cover a new Bullish on America trade when those new option series come out. Okay. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like right now, I should see 146 new subscribers. I just asked you to do it. You need to do it. Do the things that I ask you to do, and you will be a successful individual. I don't know why this isn't refreshing. Maybe because I'm live streaming on YouTube. We're like going to go back in time right now, and you guys didn't subscribe. So now I'm not happy. All right, guys, I got to go, though. I went way too long. I have an hour ass. I don't have an hour and a half. So I got to get up, stretch my legs, and get some more coffee. By tomorrow, AR, we're going to be talking about psychedelics and the MAHA, make America healthy again. The psychedelic sector is exploding. You got a lot of homework to do. You should be on the No Fallen Heroes YouTube channel, watching all of my podcasts, especially, let me give you this one. This is a must. Go subscribe to this channel right now. You need to listen to my podcast with Dr. Deborah Mash. She is the queen of ibogaine. That's like her call sign, where she actually, and she started a company called Demerex, where she is using ibogaine for alcohol use disorder. Where is that? There she is right there. The science behind ibogaine with Dr. Deborah Mash. Everybody's heard about ibogaine by now, folks, right? It is, it's Joe Rogan, it's this, it's that, it's all sorts of stuff like that. Ibogaine, ladies and gentlemen, a bunch of TGO members, I'm on the advisory board, got to invest in Demerex. This has the potential to be Spravato, $1 billion product for Janssen. Demerex and the medicine we're making could make that look cheap. Okay. William, would you consider $10,000 to $12,000 American spread instead? William, I doesn't matter what I would do. It's what you would do. I showed you if you do 2 contracts, yeah, you'd probably be risking 12 grand, but you'd be potentially making what? 190, I think it was. That's you, man. I can't tell you what to do. You need to decide what you want to do. You're the tick. You're the trader in command. Okay? All right, guys, I got to go. Way too long. It won't be this long tomorrow or Thursday, I guarantee you. But I had to do a little bit of an intro since I didn't tell you who I was and what we do yesterday in Solo Amazon. But I got to get going. I'll get the replay posted here shortly. And I will also send out the Bullish on America trade to the hunters as well if anybody needs it. Okay? Grab your membership, folks. My phone buzzed a couple times. I'm only taking 25. We're not doing the 50 new members anymore. I am only doing 25 this time. When we hit 25, we close the doors until we do a next one of these. Okay, we don't have rolling enrollment here. Take 25, shut the door, and then maybe in a month or two we'll do another one. Okay, all right. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on.